If you've been following this channel, you know that I'm all about niche historical topics. I got another one for you. How about the Hungarian invasion of Yugoslavia in April 1941? Exactly, because in April 1941, the German-led Axis powers invaded the Kingdom of Yugoslavia and toppled it within 12 days. And the Hungarians did participate in this invasion, albeit on a small scale. This here is a forgotten part of an already not very well-known invasion. In this video, I'm gonna cover the Hungarian invasion of Yugoslavia. Keep watching! A sore point in Hungarian history, perhaps the sorest point in Hungarian history, is the infamous Treaty of Trianon, which was drafted in 1920. Versailles was for Germany and the Treaty of Trianon was for Hungary after the First World War was over. Now, Hungary was in a dual monarchy with Austria, the Austro-Hungarian Empire, which had collapsed towards the end of the First World War. And Hungary, that was a medium-sized state before, was now reduced to a landlocked smaller nation. And this did not sit well with the Hungarian politicians. And one of their main aims in the interwar era was the revision of the old borders. Now, this was not easy, as France backed the so-called Little Entente, which consisted of Czechoslovakia, Romania and the Kingdom of Yugoslavia, in order to keep Hungary in check. Hungary strengthened its ties with Germany, and when Hitler rose to power, the road to revision seemed to be open. Hungarian Prime Minister Pál Telekis' foreign policy following the outbreak of war was guided by two basic principles: abstention from the armed conflict of the great powers, armed neutrality, and fulfillment of the revisionist policy. Now, Nazi Germany and Hungary had their differences. See, where Nazi Germany wanted to gain its former territory back and expand, Hungary only wanted to redraw the map to the old borders from before Trianon. Now, Hitler made clear to Hungary that 100% revision was simply not realistic. Things changed in the second half of the 1930s when Germany was overturning the status quo. With the First and Second Vienna Award in 1938 and 1940, where Hungary received a part of southern Czechoslovakia and northern Transylvania from Romania, Hungary signed the German-Italian-Japanese Tripartite Pact on the 20th of November 1940. Near the end of 1940, the Yugoslav-Hungarian Treaty of Eternal Friendship was signed in Belgrade. It would spare neither one of them. Hitler decided to invade Yugoslavia and demanded Hungary to join. Well, so much for the Eternal Friendship part. Now, if Hungary would join the invasion, it would lose the goodwill of the West. But if it refused, it would be vulnerable for a German attack. A grave dilemma, and on the 3rd of April, Hungarian Prime Minister Pál Teleki shot himself. After this, the Hungarians accepted all Germany's requests for using their territory as a staging area, but participating in the invasion itself, the Hungarians were reluctant. Why? I hope you enjoyed the video so far. I like making stuff like this, but YouTube itself, well, not really. Topics like this won't get that many views. But the point is, I make a part-time income via YouTube. But yeah, with videos like this, I won't get that much. Personally, I don't care because I love making videos like this, but I also, need to earn a living. So if you can support me, please do so. You can do it via Patreon, via PayPal, or via Super Thanks. You can all find the information below the video. And to all those who already donated, thank you so much. Let's continue with the episode. Well, like I said, the Hungarians wanted to stay out of a big war. So if they would participate in the invasion, they wanted to be sure it would be a victory. Hungarian Prime Minister Bárdossy, he said, look, we're gonna help with the invasion, but only if the Yugoslav kingdom disintegrates and Croatia secedes. On the 10th of April, the independent state of Croatia was proclaimed, and this was the green light for the Hungarian participation in the Axis invasion of Yugoslavia. I read the Yugoslav Air Force, without a declaration of war, bombarded Hungarian targets that day. Radio Budapest broadcasted the order of Regent Miklos Horthy to take back the Hungarian populated territories. Late that evening, at a meeting of the council ministers, a long, carefully worded proclamation was drawn up, signed by Horthy and Bárdossy, stating that Hungary must protect the Hungarian population broken off from Hungary in 1918 and secure their safety. Bárdossy hoped that the wording of the proclamation would win the understanding of the Allies. Now, whether this or Pál Telekis' suicide did the trick, Britain did not declare war on Hungary. On the 11th of April, the men of the Hungarian Third Army were crossing the Yugoslav frontier north of Osijek and near Subotica into Vojvodina. On the next day, the Hungarians pursued the retreating Yugoslav First Army and occupied the area between the Danube and Tisa rivers, meeting virtually no resistance. On the 12th of April, the Hungarian 1st Parachute Battalion captured canal bridges at Vrbas and Zlobran. Meanwhile, Zambor was captured against determined Chetnik resistance, and Subotica was also captured. Now do notice that when I say Chetniks, a lot of people think about the Chetniks led by Draža Mihailović during the Second World War, first as a resistance organization and later as collaborators. A complicated story, I covered that in another video. Now do notice that there also existed Chetnik units within the Royal Yugoslav Army. And the Hungarians were beset by prejudices against the Serbian population, as a leaflet that was handed out to Hungarian forces read the following: "As it is known, the Serbs throughout their history have been a conspiratorial people, prone to rebellion, violence, even bloody solutions. The Serb is a typical conspirator with an inclination to organize secret organizations and terrorist associations." Now in Zambor and Subotica, Hungarian forces were ambushed by Chetnik units, which killed several of them and left several wounded. Hungarian Lieutenant General Elemer Gorondi Novak issued the order that people caught with weapons or munition were immediately shot dead. Killings occurred even after the armistice. The most infamous one was the one that occurred in January 1942, which was known as the Novi Sad raid or the Novi Sad massacre. And this statue right here is dedicated to the victims of this Hungarian perpetrated massacre. On the 13th of April, Novi Sad was captured. The Hungarian forces also took Pregmurje in Slovenia and Međimurje in Croatia. On the 17th, the Yugoslavs signed the armistice. German General von Weichs signed on behalf of the Germans, and the Italian military attaché in Belgrade signed on behalf of the Italians. Interesting enough, the Hungarians did not sign the armistice, as they were technically not at war with Yugoslavia. The following day, the terms of the armistice came into effect. The campaign had lasted just 12 days. According to Yugoslav sources, the military invasion claimed 3,506 civic victims within a matter of a few days, while Hungarian sources mention 1,122 dead. The Hungarian army suffered 126 dead and 141 wounded in the course of the invasion. Approximately 15,000 Yugoslav soldiers became Hungarian prisoners of war. However, they were released or turned over to German or Croatian authorities. And where the Hungarian invasion ended, the Hungarian occupation began. More on that in another video. If you want to learn why Hungary actually joined Operation Barbarossa, you can click right here. I want to thank you for watching and best wishes from Novi Sad, Serbia.